All right, my people, how on a day today? Happy New Week to every one of you. We don't come again. This all about Jonathan, PDP calling Jonathan to run in 2027. The same PDP calling Peter Obi heavily to come back to PDP. All to remove Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. People's reaction, which is going to be starting from Rufai, Oseni on Arise, and Abati, then other concerns Nigerians. I'd like us to take these all combined videos together.
Some have said, yes, Jonathan can come in to the PDP. They've even made the argument for it. Sule Lamido was speaking the other day, said Jonathan can come in. Yes, he has 4 years. It could be a better option. Because the talk about one term, a lot of people posit as the reason why they not reneged against Jonathan was because Jonathan had touted that he was going to do a term. Because anyway, when you look at the argument back then, it was seen that it was the term of the North Jonathan used because Yar'Adua passed after he won the 2007 elections. And then he went ahead for a second term and things didn't pan out. It was a sentiment that was easy to be sold in the North. And with the fact that the coalesced forces with the APC in the South here, they got over the threshold, the 12 points, the 12 million vote plus over 3 million or thereabouts, and he got over 15 million votes. But now, a lot of people have said, oh, because Jonathan agreed, he didn't cause chaos, he called to congratulate Buhari, he's a good man, let us put him in the fray of things. Dear Mr. Jonathan, isn't it shocking that all of a sudden, people that said you were not good enough close to 10 years ago are saying you are the best thing now? Isn't it shocking that they want to turn you into a commodity for their own interests? And that's the shocking parameter a lot of people fail to realize. So all of a sudden, some people are pushing the kite that you are good enough. But when they needed the power off you, you were not good enough. These same people that are saying you are good enough today were those that engineered the opinion of the nation against you. Dr. Abati here can tell us the story because he spent a lot of time defending you. But he also saw the betrayal by the so-called people that claimed that they loved you then. It's all politics. For me, what saddens me is that since this political argument started among all the candidates, and today I want to berate all the candidates that are saying they want to be president, we have not heard any one of them say, let's debate on how we are going to solve the great problem of power. We are not hearing them debate about approach to solving the problem of education. We are not hearing them debate about the best approach to healthcare. All we hear them talk about is, this one is from the North, he has 4 years to go, it's from the South, and all of that. Question is, when are the issues going to be the front burner?
Okay, first, on the question of the so-called split in the PDP between President Jonathan and Mr. Peter Obi being invited by some stakeholders in the PDP to join the PDP. Well, the issues are as follows. One, the point about President Goodluck Jonathan is still very much at the level of speculation and academics. President Goodluck Jonathan himself has not come out frontally to say that he's seeking accommodation either in the PDP or in the coalition or the ADC. Now, we will need clarity on that because he himself must come out publicly to say this is where I stand. However, as a former president, like all existing living former presidents of Nigeria, it is natural that you'll be interested in the process. However, what is the issue? The issue is that we are being told that he's been pressured, either from the APC or from the PDP or from the ADC, or from whatever other political parties to take an interest in the 2027 election. Now, until we hear from him, I assume that everything else is speculative and academic. Having been involved in the political development of Nigeria to the level to which he has been involved, we will expect that he will come out and say, well, this is where I stand in this matter. And then people can have clarity. Otherwise, every other thing is just academic and speculative. That's my first point. The second point, let's interrogate the details. Now, if President Tinubu, President Jonathan suddenly decides to join the PDP, which PDP is he going to join? The same PDP that is in ICU, the same PDP that is in the vice grip of Nyesom Wike, or the same PDP where they are also winning Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi is on record as having said previously that if President Jonathan, who is his benefactor, is running for the presidency of Nigeria, he will not. He will concede to his former boss and political godfather. So there are strands to it. The other major strand to it is that since President Jonathan left power, he has gained in terms of prominence, acceptance, popularity, even regret on the part of the people who once opposed him. Internationally, he's a major international figure in Nigeria today. If you are looking at former presidents of Nigeria who have projected this country internationally, you will talk about Baba Obasanjo and you will talk about President Goodluck Jonathan. Is he going to throw himself into, this murky waters of Nigerian politics and lose all of that reputation as a global statesman? So there are many sides to it. That's why I say all of us should just be patient and wait for President Jonathan to now say, well, I'm not just part of this process, I am involved. At that level, all the analysts, can, move from speculation to basic analysis.
Hello and welcome. My name is Magnus Oraka, and this is a message to Northerners. Now, when I make my videos, I want to assure you that it's not an attempt to make mockery or throw insults to the good people of the North. But I make this video from a place where I want a country that is developed and measures up to its contemporaries out there in the global scale. Since Nigeria was formed in 1960, where is the North and where is the South? And why is this very deep discrepancies? If you go to most of the states in the South, they are all developed. But if you go to the North, most of the states are impoverished. And that is because the politicians, rather than sell education to the people, to the youth, they sold religion. Rather than sell a mindset that yearns for development, they sold religion to you. Rather than sell steps and architects that rebuild our mental perception, our mental, what is it I'm looking for? Our mental expectation for development, they sold to you religion. Now, do I say religion is bad? Of course, there's nothing bad about religion, provided you understand why you have a religion. For me, religion is a pathway to discover man's righteousness. But rather than discover righteousness, they told you that religion should be an instrument of hate, an instrument of prejudice, an instrument to make you dislike your neighbor. If indeed we are a country and we say it's one Nigeria, then we must create an atmosphere of peace, fairness, justice, and a country that absorbs all, irrespective of your religion, tribe, or race, or where you come from. But your politicians have deceived you. telling you that you can be happy because your religion is threatened. Nobody's threatening your religion. Nobody's threatening your religion. Please practice your religion, but please allow me to practice mine too. Now, 2027 is coming, and they're already telling you that Peter Obi is a liar. Peter Obi will break this country. Peter Obi will threaten your religion. No, Nigeria must be governed or must be led by a Muslim, and all the narratives that bears no developmental underpinnings or undertones to them. Yet, you swallow them. Why? They don't want you to develop, your politicians. They want you to remain in a place of dependence where you are comfortable with poverty, where you say it is God's design that I remain poor, whereas their children go to the best of schools abroad, even in places they describe as countries of Boko Haram, education of the infidel. Their children go to school there. They tell that poverty is God's design for you, but they hate poverty like they will hate a bite from a mamba. So, who is the fool? Now, I make this video because I want you to take a journey into your mind and ask, is it truly God's will that I remain poor? Whereas those who constantly sing contentment in me, they are living very lavish life and have all the money to spend. Whereas my children wake up in the morning to go to their doorsteps or to their gates, knocking only to beg for crumbs or few currencies that will thrown at me, and I will pray all the best of prayer to them. Allah jaza maninka, Allah kara makara sanaa, Allah me, Allah and all the praises. No. Development and prosperity is for everybody who desires it. But hey, they kill that desire in you, whereas they fuel their own desire to loot as much, building big mansions for themselves in front of you, because they told you that, look, riches is for me, poverty is for you. Do you want to stay and accept this? No. We need to change the country where everybody desires for prosperity and everybody can have it. You can have it if you change your mindset. Forget that they tell you that Peter Obi is an infidel. Look, Peter Obi is the one that can change the scenario of the North. The corruption that has plagued this country can be changed. The poverty that has plagued the North can be changed. Let me tell you, the North is richer than the South. Oil is not the richest thing. There are countries that have no trace of mineral resources in their countries, and yet they are one of the superpowers. Israel, for instance, they don't have any mineral resources, but they are classified as one of the superpowers of this country, one of the developed countries in the world. So there is a lot of agriculture, but rather than your leaders, your politicians to harness these God-given resources, they are so lazy, they depend solely every year for resources coming from Abuja. Please, let us join hand and vote somebody that can harness the collective resources of Nigeria to make us rub shoulders with our contemporary nations elsewhere in the world. We are too big to become laughing stocks to countries, yet up till now we had seen them as countries below us. Take Ghana currencies, for instance. Ghana currencies above our own. Somebody called me from Equatorial Guinea. Yeah, is that Mauritania? Somebody called me from Mauritania today and said that Mauritanian currency is bigger than that of Nigeria. Why? Because we have allowed mundane reasons, mundane consideration to decide how we determine our leaders. Nobody is threatening your religion. Nobody is threatening you the way of life. But hey, we cannot mortgage our collective will to develop, our collective will to prosper, because we place religion above our desire. Please, religion is a pathway to discover man's righteousness. But if your religion does not imbue righteousness in you, instead it replaces righteousness with hatred, discord, dislike in you for a fellow man created by the same God that created you, then the religion you practice needs to be reinvestigated. My name is Magnus Oraka, and I make this video not to stir up controversies, not to stir up argument, not to stir up debate. I make this video solely because I want to create an awakening that no single tribe has the monopoly to think that God has placed him or them above the rest of other tribes. We must come together and throw our religious differences aside, throw our regional differences aside, anything that divides us, we put it aside. Let's come out because we have a common interest, and that common interest is to make Nigeria better than it is. My name is Magnus Oraka. Please follow this page and share this post now.
Well, hi guys. I mean, I think there have been talks around, the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, returning to Aso Rock by 2027. I mean, so there have been some discussion around his, possibility of running again to be president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please, I think Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has been a very good friend of this administration. He has done so well. He has been supportive. He has been very, very, good ambassador of Nigeria, even beyond, Nigeria itself. He has done a lot in Africa. He has been a very good ambassador, and yeah, nobody would love to, drag him and say, oh, he's next after them. But if he decides to run, we just have to remind everybody how the decision of Nigeria was at that time. The kind of corruption that was, that was the order of the day when he was president. He gave us Emefiele. Obviously, you all know Emefiele is in jail as we speak. He gave us Alice Madueke. We all know the story around the petroleum ministry. But the level of corruption that was going on at that time, he wouldn't have been able to successfully remove fuel subsidy. And that was the reason why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu protested alongside a number of, Nigerians against that administration. So, I don't know what he's trying to do as we speak, but I would advise that he's not thinking, about running. Even that should not even cross his mind. Because the South have been in a good position come 2039 to present a president. I mean, we have the likes of Yeson Wike, Godswill Akpabio in a very good position. Then why do you not need to rush it? So please, I would advise Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, just continue to do what you're doing in Africa. Be the peace ambassador that you've been, and let all these be false and not true. If it is true that you're running, we have all the records.
Politics is not about you must be there. If God wants you to be there, you will be there. If it is not yet your turn to be there, you will not be there. When I became a vice president, that day I almost cried. I never wanted to. But that was my destiny, and I had to move. So I plead that our people who are interested in these offices and our supporters should conduct themselves very well. They want to serve us, not to serve themselves. I always tell people that if you are so ambitious, then go and do business. You cannot force me to take you to serve me. If you want to be in the state assembly and people don't want you, fine, go and sleep. You want to be a governor and the people don't want you, go and sleep or do business. But if you want to serve us as people, then you must be humble. And you will not kill us before you serve us. Every other state, elections were conducted December 98. It's only Bayelsa, because of security reasons. Elections were deferred to January 99. So governing Bayelsa state is quite challenging. Yes, our population is low, but the terrain is challenging and a lot of security challenges. So I commend the governor and his team for maintaining peace in the state. And I have to appreciate that.
Hello and welcome. My name is Magnus Oraka. I've been looking at events leading to the 2027 general election. And I must say that things are happening faster and earlier than we have anticipated. Before now, election campaigns or election anxieties would have started long before now, but it appears the mischief and greed, in fact, the whole narrative leading to the 2027 election has a twisted perspective or a twisted irony associated with it. And I will need you to be patient and hear me out. Everything I'm going to say is allegedly, and they might be a figment of my own imagination, but hey, perhaps if you pay a close attention, you might just understand where I'm coming from, right? Okay. Now, we've always said Islamization. Nigeria, there are people bent on Islamizing Nigeria. So I've been thinking, suppose we are describing the narrative using the wrong words. Suppose it is actually a Fulanization agenda and not an Islamization agenda. Islam to me is just like a peg. You know, when you wash your clothes and you anticipate there's going to be wind, you use peg to hold your clothes on the line so that the winds does not take your clothes away. Suppose Islam is merely a peg that is aimed at holding you together so that the wind does not take your ideology away. You see, the most difficult thing to re-educate is an ideology. Now, suppose we replace the idea or the apprehension that there are people that want to Islamize Nigeria to there are people that want to Fulanize Nigeria. And by Fulanizing is by redirecting the instrument of power to the hands of the Fulanis. Now, let me take you to a small journey. Part of this journey I had described before. During Jonathan and Buhari, remember the infamous statement that the dogs and the baboons will be soaked in blood. And Jonathan, at that time, felt he was alone. Nobody wanted to hear from him because the Southwest media have already described him as a weak, drunkard, sheep, and all the negative narrative. I don't want to go back so that I don't elongate this video longer than it is necessary. But we all know, right? Okay. Then Buhari came into power. Remember all the cattle ranch, all the ruga, all the livestock, whatever, and all the nomenclatures invented just to establish the Fulani dominance in Nigeria. I will still not forget a particular video I saw where Buhari opened the borders for myriads of Fulani indigenous, non-skilled workers, non-skilled individuals that trooped into Nigeria. Where are they? There was a time that we had them on the streets, running after you, using their children to run after you, dragging your clothes to give them money. Suddenly, they have disappeared. No, they have not disappeared. They've blended in perfectly with you. Now, the whole idea of a Fulanization is to put Nigeria in a place where they can command and control. Now, let us leave history and come to the present situation we have. You know, I've been asking myself, Atiku and Rufai, what game are they really playing? Because I'm made to be aware that Atiku and Rufai met Buhari before he passed on. What was it they discussed? The whole idea of setting up this coalition, what's the idea? Now, when you add that to the fact that people are wooing Jonathan to come and to contest for the presidency, of course, Jonathan will not win. And if Jonathan is going to come across this video, let me just tell him, Jonathan, you will not win. Everything is just aimed at split. You know, sometimes I wonder. I hope it's a mere rumor because Jonathan has not. I think with the viral nature of this news, I believe if it's a lie, Jonathan should have come to debunk it. But for Jonathan to remain silent, that means there may be an element of truth to it. But if it is truth, I would advise Jonathan not to do it, because that will mean that I don't even know the right word to describe that would mean we are so cheap. You have finished, your time has come and has gone. Be a statesman that you are. You are respected all over the world. Don't come and risk being reduced by contesting an election that you are not guaranteed to win. And why is it that the northern cabal will always use us in the south to destroy ourselves? Why is it that they don't want Obi? I will tell you for free. The Fulani cabal knows that a Peter Obi will upset the whole system, will change the whole formula, everything about what held the Fulani supreme. He will change it. I can assure you. When a Fulani man is running after a Southern and come and be a president, Amechi, come and be a president, good luck, come and be a president, they are running after those they can control. If I tell you the main reason why they don't want Peter Obi, it's not because he's an Igbo man. Well, that may be there, but that is not the main reason. The main reason is that if this man becomes president, we can't control him. That is just it. We can't control. For those who are saying Peter Obi is weak, no. If you look at the how do I put it, the urgency with which they want power to come back to the north after spending just 2 years, you could see. Look, I'm going to say something that most Tinubu supporters may be happy that, hey, after all, what has said is, look, if not for Tinubu's attitude and his corrupt tendencies and his criminal nature, I want to say Tinubu understand. Tinubu is playing back every game the Fulanis have played in Nigeria. He's playing back everything. In fact, he's playing it back better. But the only problem is that he didn't carry everybody along. He has Yorubanized the whole agenda. Assuming he carried everybody along, you know, I will for day behind that 100%. But he made it a Yoruba thing, which is more or less like a Yoruba version of the Fulani agenda. And we don't want any tribal agenda in Nigeria. So, what is happening is that a Peter Obi is the biggest cog in the wheel of the agenda of the Fulani man. Even those, our Hausa brothers that are saying that they've been reawakened, they are not really, they realize, yes, that the Fulani, this merger with Fulanis have not benefited us. Time to revolt against this union. But the biases they've sown in your heads over the years, hate the Igbos, hate the Christians, part of it are still there. So it will do well for you to, obliterate or delete those biases. Then we'll be sure that truly you have been awakened. But right now, if there's any meeting that has been made to say that an Igbo man will not be president, you let us know so that we'll keep our peace. Because obviously we can't continue the way we are. Just because somebody belongs to a certain region, a certain ethnicity, a certain religion, it doesn't matter if he has all the good underpinnings to turn this country around and say, no, we should not vote for him. We should vote for thieves and criminals because they belong to the acceptable tribe, the acceptable regions, the acceptable religion. No, Nigeria cannot work like that. A Fulani man ruled this country for 8 years. It is sheer preposterously it is a sheer preposterous effrontery. I sabi this English. It is a sheer preposterous effrontery for another Fulani man to be showing his attention after 2 years. Now there must be something there. There must be something. And if you are a Nigerian, you are, to be very frank, all those kicking against Peter Obi, Yes, I'm not happy, but I'm not angry with you. You are just a victim of a narrative that have shaped your mind over the years to hate a certain tribe. You're just a victim. Your mind is a victim of narratives shared to you that, Igbos will break this country. I will not allow it. You're just a victim. So with that, I feel pity for you. But for me, I want a country where I can fill my car, I can go to the market and feed my family. I don't necessarily want anything from the government except a good life. A leader that can bring policies that I can physically see that is transforming this country. So what do you want? For us to continue in this feeding and eating on propaganda that bears no physical development on us, or to embrace genuine development that you can actually see? The choice is yours. My name is Magnus Oraka. Please follow this page and share this post now.
First, let me welcome you and your team. I will be very fast because of the time you got to fly to Asaba. And to thank you for finding time to come and pay the courtesy call. So I have to thank you that you are the first, because I came here 2 days ago. I have to use this unique opportunity to encourage you in what you are doing. And Nigeria, for us to move forward, we need unity. So many countries, when you talk about in the late 50s, early 60s, there was prediction that Nigeria and XYZ countries will be at par. I don't want to go into mentioning those names. And you normally ask yourself, why are we still where we are? This was predicted by intellectuals, not ordinary people. People who study the world and look at the world trends and predicted that Nigeria, Brazil, India, blah, 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 will be this. All those countries have left us. But we are still where we are. And we Nigerians must ask ourselves one question. Why have we not been able to move with others? There is, in terms of tribal sentiment, racist sentiments, and so on, it's almost every nation. But the degree we have in Nigeria is very debilitating. It's what is pushing us backward. We have a country that we don't believe we belong into that country. Most of our leaders will say Nigeria is not a nation. We have different nationalities. It's a geographical expression, all kinds of terms. And I believe that the young people especially, if we must move forward, we must leave those sentiments aside. Every nation, every country, they have their own history. A Nigerian must see himself as a Nigerian. And we must see ourselves as one. And if I am the president, if the best person to hold a particular office is either from Enugu or from Ibadan or from Sokoto or from Yenagua or from Calabar, it doesn't matter. And until we get to that point, as a nation, we cannot move anywhere. We'll be putting square pegs in round holes and round pegs in square holes because of religious sentiments, tongue sentiments, tribal sentiments. And I believe that if by divine providence you win the election, your first responsibility is to unite Nigeria. Without unity, we cannot solve our security problems. Without unity, we cannot solve our economic problems. So if you unite Nigeria, that is the beginning of a new Nigeria and a revolution, development or otherwise, that will take place. I've been listening to comments from, of course, the political leaderships, and sometimes even our supporters do more damage than on our behalf. And I must commend you because your utterances so far have not shown any division. I must commend you on that. And just keep doing what is right. because you are to be if you win, you'll be a president for the whole nation. You'll not be a president for any group of people. But I must commend the Labour Party, the utterances. Though sometimes people complain about the media, social media supporters. But to you, nobody has made any negative reference about your vision for this country. So, my brothers, my sisters, thank you for coming. Maybe we'll have time for more elaborate conversation, but on behalf of my family, thank you sincerely for coming to pay us this courtesy call. It's a big honor, because you don't really need to come and see me. I'm just one individual. But you'll now come to greet me. Of course, Peter Obi is my younger brother, and he's been quite, he's a friend, a younger friend. He showed that clearly. But he's a good man. That is, I can say that he's a good man. Thank you. So thank you. Daddy, sir, you're also a good man, oh.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah? And I know you before today.
Thank you, sir.
So I know you're a good man.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you.
Hello and welcome. My name is Magnus Oraka. Have you ever wondered what it takes to be an Igbo man in Nigeria? Perhaps you should do that. Just imagine. What does it take to be an Igbo man? How does it feel to be an Igbo man in Nigeria? To give you a picture of what it looks like, I'm going to give you a few insights. Now, first of all, the first criteria to be an Igbo man is to be a human being that breathes air, that lives on oxygen just like every other person, that has 2 hands and 2 legs. But to be an Igbo man is to have a different thoughts to life, a different perspective to life. And then when you go through a war, fighting yourself to liberate yourself, because you understand that there is a difference between your ideology and the people you are associated with. And the people you want to dissociate yourself with said, no, we must be together, citing the phrase that the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct and Nigeria is indivisible. And they fought you to stay by force, ripping you of your wealth and giving you 20 pounds to start afresh. What they didn't know was that 3 years of fighting you, 3 years of trying to subjugate you, only prepared you to face adversity. Adversity becomes your food. Out of the ashes, you fight to become relevant. You replenish your population to the state of recognition. Now, everybody sees you are always fighting. You're always pushing. You're always wanting to be the best. In sports, you find the best. In education, you find the best. In every aspect of life, in every walks of life, you find the best there. And most times, you must find an Igbo man there. Yet, you didn't pull the gun on anybody's head to become good. You didn't tie a noose on anybody's neck to demand to be good. You just face adversity. Where people failed is where you excel. Yet, people see you and dislikes you for excelling where they fail. Is it their fault? Now, I, Magnus Oraka, talking, I was once a victim of a cognitiveness that says, dislike the Igbos. Why? I don't know. Everybody's hating them. I should join the bandwagon. Until I asked, I said, but what exactly did they do? Do I have personal differences with one on a one basis? Yes. Do I think they are arrogant? Yes. Do I think they can be lousy at times? Yes. But so it is everywhere. We have arrogant people in Yoruba land. We have arrogant people in Hausa land. We have arrogant people in Fulani land. As bad as one tribe is, people just choose to dislike the Igbos. Now, they said they want to go. You said, no, we must stay. Okay, fine. We will only do what we know how to do best, surviving. And how do we survive? By trading, by making ends meet, by making money for ourselves, by not begging. And they excel in this chosen life of sphere. And now, because they are citizens, they want to also rule this country, just like everybody is leading. You said no. You can be anything, but don't go to the leadership. And then you tell them, if they get this country, they will break it. Let me tell you, nobody needs Nigeria more than the Igbo man. And because they need Nigeria more, they must make Nigeria workable, environmental friendly for their businesses to thrive. Not like you that don't have a business. So whether Nigeria works or don't work, you just go and borrow money and share it among yourselves. And then you borrow and put us in debt. Look, if you find yourself hating the Igbos, it's because you are just being ideologically mischievous. You have no reasons to hate them. They don't come to your place and blow themselves up. They don't come to your place and say that everybody must convert to Christianity. They don't come to your place and say that because they are here, this place must be my land. They just come, do their businesses, take whatever they want to have or whatever they have gained and take it back home. When they pass on, they are not buried in your land. They are taken back to their land to be buried. So what exactly is the danger of an Igbo man that you feel you must be afraid of them? Plain mischief. Plain ethnic mischief. If we want them to stay, we must accord them the same rights every other citizens have. If we don't want to give them the right, then we should give them the right of secession. Let them go. Let them go. And because you know if they go, the South will go, the Southwest will go, the Middle Belt will go, leaving you with nothing. Because you have trained yourself to be leeches. If Nigeria disintegrates, there will be nothing to leech on. That's why you want Nigeria to be one by all means. I'm not going to say much. I'm not doing this thing to get the sympathy of Igbos. I'm not doing this thing to let the Igbos like me. Yes, there are some very lousy ones among them. There are some very, character without, you find them everywhere. But that is not enough to stereotype a whole race as classifying them or being the worst in Nigeria. If we truly want Nigeria to be great, we must learn and accept the psychology of accepting the Igbos in our midst as qualified citizens. My name is Magnus Oraka. Please follow this page and share this post now.
So Aisha Yesufu, I wanted Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to be removed, and I worked towards it. And I do not owe anybody an apology for having the right to use my own, how's that English, inalienable right to vote at an incompetent president. That some people, Nigerians who have turned themselves to oxygen-wasting vessels, who think that they are slaves and they are not citizens, they are calling on me to apologize for voting at an incompetent president just because the people that came after him failed. Well, and this is the thing. Let me just round up on this, Charles. Nigerians, I see now when people are talking, they are comparing Jonathan to Buhari, who is an abysmal failure, and to Tinubu, who has failed woefully. How do you do that? Are they okay? So we should look at the moment somebody fails more, then the other one now becomes better. No, why don't they compare the time that Jonathan was there with the time that Yar'Adua was there and with the time that Obasanjo was there? That's how you do comparison. People sit down and say that, oh, in hindsight. In hindsight, do you know what I expected from the people? Was that Nigerians would say enough is enough and never again. And that anybody who does anyone, we will vote you out. But we had people who sat down and refused to do what they're supposed to do and said that it's other people they want to help them vote out. And for every one of them, I say to you, if you said I voted out Jonathan, why didn't you keep him in? After all, was he not the incumbent? And they were telling us that it would take 60 years without anything. You know what? I just, the pain we went through.
All right, guys. If we have to look at it, for me, Yes, according to the videos you watched, for me, Jonathan failed woefully during his time. But the problem that we have now is that there's a lot of comparison because the current administration is doing satanically, starting from all the way from Buhari, Tinubu. That's why you're not doing comparison. Even some of us are already doing comparison between satanic Tinubu administration and satanic Buhari's administration. Like some people are already saying that Buhari's administration was far better than Tinubu's administration for just 2 years. You see, that's what you get. If care is not taken and we refuse to choose wisely, people will still say that Tinubu's administration was far better than whatever that you will choose for yourself prospectively. So that's why you must choose well so that the people of Nigeria will not continue to suffer. What do I know? This is NAIJA Watch Media. Join us every day, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Let's continue to talk about the things that's affecting you and I. Take care, guys, and bye for now.